Welcome back to the best in horror since last October, 2020-2021. I'm ML Miller. Tension is always a powerful element for all of the best horror films, but sometimes tension is built to a fever pitch, and it makes for an electrifying watch. Here are two films that do just that. This is ML Miller Frights' Best in Horror Countdown 2020-2021. Number 22. Coming in at number 22 is Triggered. It was released November 6th, 2020. It's available on demand and digital download from Samuel Goldwyn Films. It's directed by Alastair and written by David D. Jones. A group of high school friends meet up after graduation on a camping trip in the middle of the woods and try to recapture the magic that brought them together in school. What they don't know is that all of them are keeping dark secrets from one another, and they aren't very good friends at all. These secrets come to light when a former high school professor with a grudge against them gasses the group and straps bombs to their chest with timers at varying lengths. When the timer runs down, the bomb goes off. Soon they find out that by killing one of their own, the time is portioned off to the rest of them until only one remains. That's when things stop being friendly and start being deadly. Triggered is a non-stop adrenaline rush of a thriller with more gore, deception, and action that you can shake a friendship bracelet at. It focuses on a cast of friends that, when push comes to shove, show their true colors and turn on each other in an instant. There's a train wreck sort of quality to the way all of these seemingly decent people turn rabid that you simply can't take your attention away from. While none of the cast are angels at the beginning, and each show some kind of quality that might seem as annoying, mean, or just downright wrong, when the pressure is on, the flip is fascinating to watch as these guys devolve into animals with very little prodding. It seems director Alastair and writer David D. Jones want to say something about never really knowing your friends, but I don't know if they really care to make a movie with a message with Triggered. This movie simply highlights horrible people doing dastardly things to one another at an expedient pace, and it's a wing-dang-doodle of a good time. The level of relentless action, emotional treachery, and gob-dobbity good gore are at epic levels here. People explode, people stab, beat, and hack at each other. This is a balls-out action flick that never holds back. The bloody effects are nice and goppy, and it gets into every crevice. I think I got a little on me, and I don't think this stain is ever going to get out. I leapt back in my seat numerous times and laughed with madcap glee at the carnage that unfolded. This is the type of film you watch with friends and then look at them suspiciously after you burst out in that laughter. While the cast is full of people I haven't seen before, they all do a solid job, each providing a distinct and unique diabolical personality different from the rest. They're all varying degrees of rat bastard, but still I found myself rooting for some over others as they rip and tear into each other in order to survive. Alliances are made and broken, friends and lovers turn on one another, and it's also fucking fun to watch. Orrin Jones delivers a fast-paced dollop of mayhem pretty much from the beginning to end, never really letting up and only increasing with speed and intensity as the show goes on. My only criticism is that I noticed an annoying trend with the editing and filming where the camera focuses on a cast member and then inches in a tiny bit. This is used to convey panic and disorientation, and if I would have seen this just once or twice, I think I would have been okay with it. But I noticed the camera doing it over and over, and it became annoying. Still, this is a minor quibble for an otherwise utterly satisfying dose of madness and bloodletting. If you're looking for that cathartic portion of the suffering of others in gruesome and sordid ways, and who isn't in this day and age, don't miss this breakneck-speeded slaughterfest that would make a full Roman Colosseum stand up and give an extended slow clap in admiration, appreciation, and awe. For today's bonus review, it's a film from a couple of years ago, but it was just released in the US this year. TAILGATE, aka BUMPERKLEEF, was released on DVD from Film Movement on July 30th, 2021. It's directed and written by Lodewijk Crijns. Hans, played by Jeroen Spitzenberger and his family are going to visit his parents for the weekend for his father's birthday. Of course, he and his family are running late, so Hans decides to make up the time on the highway. What the family didn't plan on was running into Ed, played by Willem de Wolf, a serial killer who tracks down people who tailgate him on the highway and kills them wearing a hazmat suit and spraying a toxic pesticide at them. Ed relentlessly pursues Hans and his family on and off the road in order to enact his twisted form of justice. I wasn't expecting how much fun I was going to have with Tailgate. It's an over-the-top adrenaline rush of a film that pretty much starts its motors in the first few seconds and doesn't stop barreling down the highway until the credits roll. The film is basically a morality lesson that expands into a broader allegory of a man who thinks he's an adult, adulting around and doing adult things, but in actuality, he's just a small child in a man's body. It's a harsh tale that really cuts deep by the end, putting our lead, Hans, through the emotional and physical ringer. The story manages to be action-packed, but still quite deep with the way it communicates its message, unabashedly taking the side of the maniac motorist who is pursuing the family instead of the other way around. While this is a family in peril, the great thing is that as we get to know this family, we realize how awful they really are. It makes for an interesting watch as you begin feeling for the family who find themselves in peril, but as the momentum shifts, the true colors emerge, and it's hard to really find anyone worth your cheers. While this is not a Dick Maas film, it definitely has the same kind of offbeat humor, bombastic stunts, and over-the-top gore and violence to be a close relative to the iconic Dutch filmmaker. Lodewijk Crijns never lets his camera rest a second, creating some of the most harrowing car stunt work simply by focusing on the car and then whatever is in its path and then back again. Some scenes are sped up, but for the most part the chase scenes are real. The cars really do get that close to one another, and the speeds they drive are nerve-wracking. The highways in this Dutch landscape feel like something out of Mad Max, with barely a speed limit and no law in sight. This makes the motorway a reckless hazard zone, allowing Hans to rocket down the highway with very little care for the peril he is putting his family into. After pissing off Ed, the peril takes shape, and the exterminator sprayer Ed uses for a murder weapon is one of the more creative and palpable tools of death you're ever going to see. Still, despite the attention to action, Crijns never fails to take time for personality as well as building tension to feverish lengths. Tailgate, also known as BUMPERKLEEF, which I love, was remade last year as Unhinged, starring a very tubby Russell Crowe. While there are elements that are the same, the Americanized version pales in comparison. What feels like a second-rate falling down is glorious in the Dutch version by Crijns. Having seen both, skip the Russell Crowe version. It's not terrible, but ultimately forgettable. If you really want to occupy the edge of your seat for an entire film, seek out Tailgate. I watched the dub version, and the translation was both tension-laden and utterly hilarious. I honestly haven't had so much fun with a film this year as I had with Tailgate. This one is highly recommended for those who love some laughs and a little metaphorical death to their death-defying thrills and high-tension chills. Come back tomorrow for the next installment to the Best in Horror Countdown 2021. If you hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below, you're sure never to miss it. See you then.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be. Stuck inside your reality. You're